Hey there guys, Brendan here and Sarah taking a look at the Mojo Fun Troodon. I've never reviewed a figure from Mojo before. That changes now because this is the first figure in the line that I've reviewed. Now Mojo is, I almost want to say a Chinese company, but I'm not sure honestly. They're a company who makes dinosaur toys and other animal toys. Of course, being me, I'm mostly interested in the dinosaur toys. For the longest time, they made basically just slightly higher quality Chinosaurs, but more recently, they've been trying to turn around and make actual quality figures, and they've worked somewhat. This is the second, I believe, feathered Maniraptoran they've made. They had a Deinonychus, which I was actually considering getting, but then I saw the difference between the stock photo paint wash and the actual paint wash on it, and the actual figure looked like shit compared to the stock photos, which looked pretty decent. This figure, on the other hand, looks pretty much the same in hand as it does in the stock photos. So this one's fine by extension. Now, and this is really the only Troodon I can think of that a major company has made. Troodon. Yeah, the whole Troodon doesn't really exist anymore thing does apply to this. This is probably intended to be a Stenonychosaurus, not a Troodon. I don't remember when this figure exactly came out, because I don't think the year is listed on it. Let me check here for a second. Nope, doesn't list the year this figure was released, but it'll say in the actual title card when this figure came out. But overall, it's not... I don't know when this figure was released, so it could have been released at the time when Troodon was no longer a thing, in which case calling it a Troodon is wrong. But on the other hand, it could have been released at a time when calling it a Troodon could still be considered correct. The figure itself is pretty basic, color scheme-wise. It's dark brown, almost black for the head, white, a little bit of darker brown striping, and then this sort of, I guess, chocolate brown, not really, kind of light brown for the body. Very, very basic, but not bad looking. It definitely doesn't look bad. It's not that bad looking. Though I do have a few problems with this figure. First off, scientific accuracy is a mixed bag. On the one hand, it is feathered. I will give them credit for that. But on the other hand, they seem to have some strange ideas for the feathering. Like, the tail fan, as you can see here, is kind of half-assed. It only exists at the very tip of the tail. This entire section of tail should have this fan covering it. And the other issue is the hands, if you can believe it, are incorrect. There should be at least one finger extending from this. And granted, this could not be incorrect, but there's something just about these wings that looks really weird to me. Like, you can see the molded on hands on the other side of the wing, but they just look really strange to me. And I do have to give appreciation to the fact that they actually painted the claws, because, you know, most people aren't going to see that, so... Unfortunately, the actual hands themselves aren't painted. They're just painted the same color as the rest of the feathers. So, if they had painted them the same color as the feet, that would have been a nice touch, but oh well. The feet themselves are a little bit strange looking as well. They look a little bit oversized, probably just for stability reasons. Although he is also balancing on his wings, so I'm not entirely sure what the point of these big-ass clown feet are. You also might notice one of the feet appears to be warped. I don't know if that's just my figure or if that's every copy of the figure. Now, you'll also notice he does have an open mouth, and like some other figures, he does have a bit of articulation. You can shut... Well, you're supposed to be able to open and close the mouth. For some reason, mine doesn't want to keep his mouth shut. He just ends up chomping like Pac-Man. Oh, there, I got it to stay shut. But, unfortunately, the slightest bit of pressure, and his mouth opens again. That's a bit of a pain to get him to shut his mouth. I don't know if that's just my figure, or whether that's a defect on all these figures, but that just annoys me, because it just feels like this joint is not in there strong enough to actually keep the mouth shut. You'll also notice, if I open the mouth a little bit, there's a bit of mispaint on the tongue there, where there's a big white splotch on the tongue. That itself is not a big issue, considering you're not really going to be looking inside of this thing's mouth. At least it wouldn't be if I could shut the damn thing's mouth, but it doesn't want to stay shut. which is the problem. Overall, this figure's not too bad, though. It's pretty decent. Although, my biggest problem with it, something I didn't mention at this point, is it kind of doesn't scream Troodon to me. It just really screams generic Maniraptor. And I mean, the one thing I can identify this as a Troodon, though, is because of the tiny little killing claws. Because I think Troodontids in real life did have really tiny killing claws. But overall, this isn't a bad figure, though it's kind of iffy. For a Troodon, though, this is probably your best, or Stenonychosaurus, this is probably your best bet at the moment. So if you're interested in getting that, go ahead and get this guy. He was only 13 bucks, I believe, so he's not that expensive. But if you're not interested in Stenonychosaurus or Troodon, then don't bother with this guy.